All right, here we are. Ran out of video recording time, but take a look at the right ventricle wall and notice how it's much skinnier. It's not as thick, it's not as muscular, not nearly as strong as the left ventricle wall. That is super thick because that has to pump the blood the farthest. This chamber has to pump blood throughout the whole entire body, whereas this chamber, the right ventricle, that just has to pump blood over to the lungs and back. Not a very far round trip. So that's why this wall isn't quite as thick. It has to be strong, but only strong enough to get to the lungs and back. So when this chamber contracts, it sends blood out this tube. All right, and that's the pulmonary artery. So this tube would continue on. It was cut by the hunters who got this deer, who harvested it. But this pulmonary artery that my finger's coming through, that would lead to, it would go up out of the heart, and it would branch off, and one would go to this lung and one would go to that lung. All right, let's take a closer look inside the heart. You see some of the valves. All right, we gotta have light here, guys. So here you see some things. They're called chordae tendineae, but they're kind of like they're the heartstrings. They're made out of like the same things that our tendons are made out of. They're very strong, tough material, and they hold onto these flaps of skin that we call valves. All right. So this is a valve to make sure that blood doesn't go out the wrong area of the heart. So that's a valve. Can you see that in there, where my finger is? All right, that's a valve. We'll take another look at this valve. Maybe we'll go cut right down it and see some of the what are called semilunar valves. All right. So yeah, this will be great. This will be a good view. Okay, so I just cut the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery. So here are some flaps. This is part of the pulmonary valve, so that when blood flows out, it can go past this, no problem. But then when the pumping stops and the blood starts to fall back down this way, then these little pockets of the valve, they open up, they fill up with blood like that. And there's one there, there's one here, and then I cut the third one. Partially right there, so it's the third one is cut, but together when they're part of a round blood vessel, they would fill up with blood, and each of them, the three of them, would fill up and stop blood from falling back down this way, because we don't want blood going back down that way. So that's pretty cool. It's a valve, and when those don't work right, you get a heartbeat that doesn't sound normal. It doesn't sound lub dub, lub dub, lub dub, lub dub. So when a doctor listens to your heart, he or she might be able to find out that there's some kind of a problem based on what it sounds like if your heart's not working right. And one of the problems that often is going on is that these valves aren't working right, and so blood is kind of going back the wrong way. I'm going to open this up just a little bit more to see more of this other type of valve. In case you couldn't see it earlier. All right, here's a little bit better look. Cam, can you step over the side so we see a little bit more light coming in here? Thanks. So here's those cords I was talking about, heartstrings. All right, and they're attached to big, strong parts of the chamber wall. Big old piece of muscle there, and they hold on to these flaps. So here's right here underneath my thumb. You see that's a big part of the valve that makes sure that blood doesn't go the wrong way out of that chamber. It goes up this way instead, out the aorta. So that's pretty cool. These two little flaps, they're the right and left atria, and that's the top part of the heart. So when blood comes back from the deer's body, it's going to come back in to this spot right here. This is the vena cava, all right? And so this is the largest vein in the body, and blood comes back here. The blood doesn't have very much oxygen in it, and so that blood comes in here to the right atrium of the deer. And then the right atrium squeezes it down into the right ventricle, and the right ventricle squeezes it up this way to the lungs. And in the lungs, that's where it gets its oxygen, dumps out its carbon dioxide, and the deer exhales the carbon dioxide out in the world, and now the blood in the lungs is getting oxygenated, and then the next pump of the heart pushes that blood further, and coming back in from the lungs, it comes to the left side of the deer's heart, all right, into what we call the left atrium, right here. So this tube would be the left, or the pulmonary vein coming back to the body. So now it's got rich oxygen here, and then this part of the heart, the right atrium, squeezes it down into the, left atrium squeezes it down into the left ventricle, and then that's got the big strong muscular wall that squeezes it out the aorta to the rest of the body. So that's pretty neat. Now let's open up the moose heart. Holy jeez, this thing is huge. So this is just comparison. The moose heart's probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, like 6 or 7 deer hearts. That's crazy. It's huge. All right, so left ventricle, right ventricle. Let's look at the right ventricle side first. And then this is the pulmonary artery. Wow, that is big. Okay, so here's the moose's right ventricle, all right? And this is where the oxygen poor blood would be. All right, take a look at this valve. Look at how big that pocket valve is. That is just huge, and here, kind of got the edge of it, but here's another part, and then here's the third. Just like in the deer heart, just like in ours, it's going to have pockets that stop the blood so that the moose doesn't want blood coming back down this way. The moose wants blood going up that way. And so when you go up the bottom of the pocket, it's smooth. It just flattens the pocket out. But then when the blood starts to fall back down this way, the pockets fill up with blood, they open up, and they stop blood from going back down in here. That's cool. So then this right ventricle squeezes and pushes blood out this pulmonary artery to the lungs, which would be on either side of the moose's heart. The lungs give some oxygen to the blood, and then the next pump of blood from the heart squeezes and pushes blood back to the moose's heart on the left side, and this would enter the heart right here in the left atrium. All right, and then from there it would squeeze down into that hole down in the left ventricle. So let's open up the left ventricle and see how thick that wall is. Wow. That is big. Take a look at that. Look at how thick that is. I mean, the deer heart was pretty thick at about 1 inch. This moose heart, that's got to be 2 inch thick right there. Wow. All right. Super thick. Oh, here we go. Look at this. We got a little blood clot action right there. That's clotted up blood. All right. So from here, this big, huge, strong ventricle, this chamber would squeeze and push blood out the aorta. All right, that's my fingers coming out of the aorta of the moose, and that would take the aorta would push blood to the rest of the moose's body. And this blood has a good amount of oxygen, and the oxygen gets to the moose's cells, and the cells do what they need to do, and then they push blood back to the heart, and the moose's heart would enter right here. All the blood coming back from the body would come in here. This is the vena cava, entering the moose's right atrium. Right there, the vena cava. Wow, that is super cool. All right, what else should we look at? Maybe open up this, see a little bit further. All right, well now there's the whole left side of the moose's heart open up. So these are those cords I was talking about, the heartstrings. They hold on to these flaps of tissue right in here. Those are valves that prevent blood from going from the ventricle up into the atrium. They want the blood to be pushed out this way, out through the aorta. Jeez, that is big. All right, so that's pretty neat there, folks. I hope you enjoyed the heart dissection. I got to clean myself up, but I really like this part. Heart anatomy is awesome. I'm sorry that you guys couldn't do it in person. Maybe if this ends and we can get back face to face with each other, we can do that. But anyways, it was fun, and I hope you learned a lot. I hope you think it's pretty neat to investigate anatomy, because we can learn a lot about our own anatomy by studying animals that are kind of close to ours. And our heart is put together the exact same way that a deer heart or a moose heart is. The only difference is the size. So thanks a lot, Oakland students. Have a great rest of your day and hope to see you soon.